Hi everybody, welcome once again to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. This is me, Oberon, with Goth Tarot. It's my weekly exploration into the shadows, and I guess I should show a little enthusiasm because this one has it all. I have decided to do a very strong reading with many decks. I'm probably using at least 8 decks. And I wanted to give a very special shout out to one of Goth Tarot's most important fans, but you all are, but somebody who goes a little bit further to spread the influence around. And that's our friend Judy Conda, whose birthday is today or tomorrow, and we are doing a birthday reading for you on our regular live stream show. It'll be pretty much at the beginning of the show, so do check that out, Judy. I wanted to thank you for all the wonderful sharings of Goth Tarot on Instagram and elsewhere. Happy birthday. This reading is especially in mind for you, which is the inspiration for doing this very large reading I'm going to do. So without further delay, I'm going to start, and we're going to set the tone with a reading from the Oracle of the Hecatean Path. And of course, Hecate is one of my patrons, or at least my interest, my strong interest. I've performed a number of ceremonies with Hecate as the central influence, not recently, mostly in my somewhat storied past. But at any rate, I'm going to read this card from the relatively new Oracle by Ken Payne and Chris Butler. Crux. Number 40, Axis Monday. Pretty card. Axis Monday, Crux. As the cosmic world soul, Hecate spans the 3 realms of earth, sea, and sky. She herself can be viewed as a world tree symbol, and we can traverse these realms in search for answers. Hecate is the fulcrum of each world. She is the bridge, the doorway, and the key. Before we can act, we must consider what is at the core of our situation. Through her immense power, Hecate provides us with a means to explore and access things beyond our current sense of perception. So that's our beginning, and it's quite interesting. Because I'll just have to say that there are at least two aspects of the cards that I had decided to use a triple motif. We'll get to that in a moment. So that was our beginning, and so now to really move into the reading, we're going to, as usual, do what I call the dark design. And the dark design is sort of like, what is our environment around us right now? So this is a collective reading, so this maybe is something everyone can relate to, resonate to a little bit. But we're also going to say, is this affecting us on a physical level, you know, something in our life, a situation, or is it something maybe in our emotional or subconscious, or something that's not so tangible? So I am using, as always, or usually, the Murder of Crows Tarot. And I didn't leave a lot of room for myself on the table, so I'm just going to kind of shuffle overhand a little bit. No fancy riffling here today, perhaps, or maybe I can try it over here. All right, so what is our dark design? It's the reversed Ace of Pentacles. We're disappointed. Something is not working as well as we thought. It could be a new job or something that has materialistic undertones to it. Maybe it's our search for a new home. Maybe it's new projects that we hope generate funding or money. It could be something that just feels like it's a project or a foundation that's being built and it's having delays. It's not really seemingly working out. Is this something that's a physical thing going on, or is it possibly related to something within ourselves, you know? And the qualifying card is the Crow Father. So to me, this indicates this is really a physical concern. It's a more of a mundane concern. Something project-wise or foundational in our lives seems to be lagging, isn't working correctly for some reason. It could be our adherence to a project. It could also be where we're faring in a new job or situation in our lives. So now what I want to do, and I guess I'll just leave these here, I'll move them off to the side a little bit. We could talk about them later if we need to, is I'm working with the Deviant Moon Tarot, and what I'm looking for here is what are the things we need to know? What is the dark secrets that we need to know? In other words, maybe what is knowledge or information that is going on around us, and maybe it's being kept secret, or maybe it just is secret. But what is it that maybe would help us if we knew about it? That was the Deviant Moon Tarot. And it is the Knight of Swords. It's upright. What we need to know maybe is that we need, perhaps in relationship to the first card, is be more provocative. Move a little more quickly, maybe with a little bit more assertiveness. This is probably something we can do to affect the outcome. So maybe this is just saying we have to pay attention and we have to strike while the anvil is hot, as they say. But now I'm going to say, what is it that maybe we need to know within ourselves? You know, something subconscious that we're not totally connecting either, but maybe it would be helpful if we understood that. And I'm going to use the Black Tarot for that. So this is the corollary to the Deviant Moon. That was what we need to know from without. This is what do we need to know from within. And once again, happy birthday, Judy Conda. And I want to thank everybody that supports us. I'm not going to mention everybody now, but there are a few other people who have talked about us and who I know support us in many ways. So I thank you all. What do we need to know about ourselves or within ourselves? What is our dark inner secret knowledge? And it's the Empress. The Empress is upright. We need to know that we are our own game changer. We need to know that we have nearly unlimited power to produce and create, to take care of our own issues as well as the issues from without. Maybe we've lost a little touch with that in some respects just because of the burdens of life. But deep down inside, what we need to know is we have that inner power. We are our own Empress. We are our own go-to person. Judy, Fiber, all the people that I know that watch my show or occasionally, you guys are superb in what you do. And so no matter if this is currently a time where we are losing sight of some of our issues or feeling like there's a burden over us, your power's still there. You guys know it. All right. So now I'm going to move on to what is it? And of course, that was sort of like my pep talk before the darkness. I'm going to look with the Gothic Tarot at what is it that is still haunting us. That despite everything else, is there some issue that's going on in our life that we need to take care of? And this is an issue that we probably know. It may be, situations that are going on that aren't exactly covered by everything else here. But what is it that still is haunting us? More likely than not, it could be talking about something emotional, inner feelings that are still going on, or inner situations that we're still wondering how we're going to resolve. So I'm using, as I said, the Gothic Tarot for that. And it's the reversed Six of Cups. Now, the reverse Six of Cups, in this context, I think it's saying that maybe some of us have been forgetting about certain people in our past that really mean us well and that we really possibly need to connect with. And so this is a different kind of haunting. This is maybe saying that there could be unresolved situations, but maybe it's just time to really reach out to the past and embrace those who have come before and who have offered help or who still are strongly connected to us. Don't forget those people. Okay, now I'm really going to try something different. I know, as if I don't have enough cards out there. I guess maybe I should clear the cards for this next part. So let me do that. I'm going to use the Dark Grimoire, a rather Lovecraftian kind of influenced tarot. And I'm going to use 3 cards to represent our dark knowledge of our body, mind, and spirit. Remember I said earlier that it was interesting that the Hecate thing came up about 3 realms. I had intended to pull 3 cards that cover the sense of what is our dark knowledge? What are the things about our body, mind, and spirit that we have to relate to as knowledge and maybe as an eternal or constant of some sort? I'm hoping I can put this all into that context of doing that. But I thought that the Dark Grimoire as a book of knowledge or a vessel of knowledge would be appropriate for this part of the reading. So here we go. Wait till you see what else I got planned. Oh my goodness. So, body. And it's the 7 of Swords. I want us to pay attention to things going on in our body, things that we maybe are looking at and saying, oh, that's not big. That doesn't feel like anything. Maybe it does. Maybe there is something going on health-wise with some people. So pay attention, as always, to what's going on in your body. But this may present as something you don't totally feel is really of a concern. It feels so minor. It feels like it's somewhere in the background. It's a secret, you know. So pay attention to that. Okay, mind. And it's the Magician. And it's like the Empress in a way. I think what this card is saying, when we put our mind to it, the inner wisdom of our mind, we intuitively know what is that magic we need to make in our lives. And I know someone watching this show says, I dream of all the rituals I want to do or all the ceremonies I'm creating. And that's what this card is maybe talking about, is the sense of being so intuitive. It's like the Empress when it showed up in the other part of the reading. We have that innate knowledge to do these things, you know. And, you know, if we call it magic, if we call it mysticism, if we call it prayer, whatever it serves and whatever our religious choices or spectrum is, it's all the same thing, really. It's about finding energy within ourselves, finding the energy that we can connect to from somewhere else that we can use to achieve our willpower or to affect our health, possibly. Mr. O and Banshee are not doctors, but we're saying, though, if you feel like this is making you think about something that is health-wise a concern, do check that out. Likewise, over here, don't take yourself for granted. You have the power of immense will. That's probably the biggest gift of the Magician, is your willpower. So now let's move on to the Spirit then with the Dark Grimoire. And it's the Emperor upright. And so from a spiritual point of view, I think you need to take dominion over your realm and realize that spiritual forces you're working with are there as advisors. And so to listen to them, but don't necessarily feel you have to do everything you encounter from your spiritual or meditative studies. But listen to that and think about that and try to put it into the context for your own life. All right, so that was from the Dark Grimoire, and that was what I call it the body, mind, spirit. Take what is the inner knowledge that we know we have about ourselves on those levels, for those levels. So now I want to look at something that is totally from without. What is the dark, otherworldly presence that may mean something in our lives? Is it actually there? Is there? That's really what I want to say. Is there a dark, otherworldly presence in our lives or in our world? And what may it possibly do for us? So for that, I'm going to use my Cthulhu Otherworldly Tarot. That's the back of it. And I'm just going to do another Trinity. I'm going to do the yes or no spread because I'm asking that question as yes or no. Is there an otherworldly presence that is in our lives able to possibly affect things or something that we should just be aware of for some reason? So that's a yes or no. And they are very tall cards. So I have to be careful how I shuffle them because they might fly out of my hands. But it's a very cool deck. The pips are kind of plain, but the other cards are, as one can imagine, Cthulhu-like. All right. Yes or no? Is there a dark, otherworldly presence at this time that maybe is able to be helpful? And it's a yes or no spread. Oh, bam, one ace. Alrighty then. So, of course, it is foolish to ask certain questions in a yes or no vein. Of course, there's an otherworldly presence. Although the appearance of only one ace says, well, it may be leaning towards no. It may be just saying that's the otherworldly for you. It's not able to be directly realized or actualized in our lives. It's very vague. It's very abstract. It may come through dreams. It may come through specific kinds of work. But there are two other cards that we should note here. One is the upright Wheel of Fortune, and the other is the King of Wands, which is also upright. Something chanceful can happen that maybe brings a lot of immense energy along the lines of charismatic leadership or charismatic progress, people pulling together to be representative of what is the good. There's an emphasis on charmingness, there's an emphasis on networking. So the otherworldly presence maybe is wanting or will be helpful in the sense of beneficent things happening randomly, but maybe having incredible charisma, pulling us towards maybe a new kind of paradigm. All right. My goodness, we're just going through the decks here today. It's fabulous. So what else do I want to do? I have two more ideas of decks to use before I do the final affirmation. I'm drawn to do what I usually call the Dark Gift with the Crow's Magic Tarot, traditional. So what we are asking then is, what is that dark magic thing that can help us that we have? We've sort of explored some of the ramifications of that or some of the ideas about that, but now specifically we're asking this deck, what is our dark gift? What are the insights or intuitions we may have? This may be specific, it may be general, about what's going on and how we can best address that, or what we can use, resources, etc. It's dark judgment, reverse judgment. So I think our dark gift is realizing that we do in fact need to continue working on that sense of an epiphany that we're trying to gain, that sense of rebirth, reawakening spiritual ideals or practices or meditations. This could be saying you have the abilities, or you should, to find a way to continue working and evolving yourself, Gothically or otherwise. I kind of like that, so I'm going to leave that there. Actually, I'll leave that over here. And so now, this one's different. Hopefully it'll work out. But I thought, what is our dark twist? What is the dark twist? And the dark twist would be mostly around the question of, am I better off I do this thing, or should I do that thing? It's sort of a choice of two ways. And so what I have decided to do is use the Vice Versa Tarot, which I use for Totally Twisted Thursdays, if you didn't know. And it's a dual-sided card that basically represents the idea of whether or not you should take the one choice or the other choice, or if this way is better, more resonant, or is this way better, more resonant? Is this an inner feeling? Is this an outer feeling? It's basically all of that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. And of course, I try not to really look at the cards since there's no backs to it. I want to really be sort of absent the idea of what's going on here. We don't read them in terms of reversals, so it's just either the one side or the other. In this instance, like on Totally Twisted Tarot, I'm asking this question is, what happens if we proceed in our goals currently based on everything we've already heard? What will be the possibilities? I'm just going to pull one randomly, which I've done. And it's the Knight of Cups, whose reverse side is a dark side. So I pulled that side there, and of course the court cards in the deck are really more about inner and outer sides. So let's look at it from that point of view. And of course you realize, that it's the classic version of the knight. He's offering the cup of love. The water symbolizes emotions. There's a waterfall. His heart is overwhelming with love. His desires have the power to change the landscape and move anything in their path. Those who would travel his path alongside him, whether in romance or another type of quest, need to be willing to give as much in return. So I kind of like that. I think that's very interesting way of looking at that, that if you continue in the path you're going, those who may walk with you will need to be as resonant as you are towards that. And of course, that was slightly glossed on with the Emperor card showing up in that one area, I forget which. But another way of looking at it is the other side, the Knight of Cups inner self. And this time we see him in darkness. And there are all the artifacts of sort of a darkness, a shadow side. It's possible that the horizon above him is Orion the hunter. And like Orion, this knight needs the chase, or more precisely, the quest. This is the Grail Knight, whose quest defines his own worthiness to be loved. The nearby crab provides a little warning. Don't drop all your defenses until you see which way the tide is flowing. So I think this is saying that the other possibility is that you are on your own, but you should move on with that strength from that and realize that sometimes you have to rely only on yourself as opposed to the projection of love that you might feel with the other side. So it's a little deep. I'm going to have to ponder that one, but I hope I've given you something to ponder as well. I guess we're going to wrap it up now with our final meditation. And it's from the Dark Light Oracle. Let's see if it actually gives us a context here. Some possibility of a shadow work that we can do, or just that affirmation that we need at this time. Flight, number 39. Let's rise into the sky. Do not be scared anymore. Everything is going to be gentle and graceful. Now is the time for you to take flight. For a great, big, wild adventure is beginning, and your grace and magic are strong. You can trust them. They will lift you high. You are no longer bound to stay on the ground. Whole peaceful new horizons are waiting to be discovered. Forget the rules you once learned. Now is the right time. You know it. You feel it in your guts. Do not waste one more minute. Take the leap. The sky is yours, and the trip will be so exciting. Affirmation. I listen to my inner magic and decide to fly high. I let nothing stop me. A whole new level is waiting for me. So that's awfully nice, and that I think goes in overall pretty well, that, you know, ultimately we do have to not let others restrict us, to keep moving in the right direction of what we know, and that even when we can't always understand those knowledges or things that are around us, deep down inside there's an instinct going on there. We saw it in most of those cards, and we still have access to other gifts or other forces or influences. So be at one, everyone. Namaste. Happy birthday once again to Judy Conda. Thanks again for all the work you do. Thanks everybody for viewing. Please like, please share, please follow us. And we'll see you next time. But before we do, don't forget to watch us live tomorrow night for our regular live stream. If you want to see our birthday reading for Judy, show up. But we do birthday readings from time to time, so you can come on the show and find out how that works. And our show is from 7 to 9 p.m. Thursday night. That's tomorrow night. Eastern Standard Time. We're here in the States. Also, my next show will be the Emotional Exchanges on Friday morning or anytime after. That one is pre-recorded, but it's on starting at 7 a.m. on Friday mornings, Eastern Standard Time. Our happy hour, which is a live 1 hour message of positivity for everyone who shows up, is Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on our YouTube channel. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, Banshee, my partner, will be doing her Material Matters show Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And it's pre-recorded, but we are live in the chat room, so we can chat with you and have fun, otherwise explain the reading. And then, of course, Sunday we are live again, our regular live stream show from 2 to 4 p.m. And come and have a ball with us. We answer questions and have a lot of fun. And thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.